To Love and Kabash. This movie is on Nollywood TV. A recap of this movie talks about a woman who is always being used by her colleagues in the office. She's just too nice, so they take advantage of her kindness until she stood up for herself and realized that, yeah, I can actually do that. Now this character was built because she is a devoted Christian, a good Christian, and one day she fell in love with a Christian brother. This is what To Love and Kabash talk about. What I like about this movie, let me start by saying that finally Omoni has posted her movie in the right frame size. So this is 16.9. I like that. You need to keep it up. Yes. Guys, yeah, you guys know I always complain about the size of the movie when they post them, so I'm happy Omoni is posting this particular movie in the right frame size. Of course, another time she can decide to post it in the wrong frame size, so let me appreciate her while she's at it. So yeah, I like this movie that is being posted in the right frame size. Another thing I like about the movie is Dike's acting. He was the devoted Christian brother. He's always praying. Every sentence has to come with a prayer. Every sentence has to come with praying in tongues. I'm like, So the character was a funny character. That is what I like about this movie. Dike was funny without even trying. That is the character he was playing. I was like, is he okay? Is he alright? Yeah, he was just funny for me, and I like that. You guys know I love comic. Something comical is what you will always get me when it comes to Nollywood. So I like that his character was a funny one. I enjoyed him. He did really good with the prayer session, his dressing. I'm like, yeah, I think he just appeared very funny, and I like that about this movie. Another thing I like about this movie is the funny storyline. In terms of Dike's character, you know, they build momentum around Dike and Ekeneme's character as well. I mean, she was a good Christian, so people took advantage of her. Then with Dike's character, he was so serious with Christianity. Even when he's approaching a woman to be his girlfriend, he's praying, he's quoting Bible verses, he's asking you to pray. Like, are you here to woo me, or you are here to preach the gospel? Which one is it? So that is the storyline surrounding these two characters. So I think it's a funny storyline to say the least, and that's something I like. Comic relief and you know, something interesting and something relatable. I think that is what this movie is about, and I think I like that. Lastly, I want to say that I like the costume in this movie. Costume, especially Dike, I think I already touched a little bit of that already. His costume made him appear very funny, and I mean, they made him look like he had those Christian brothers who don't know how to dress, who are still living in the early 2000s. That's exactly how, you know, Dike appeared. And I also like how Ekeneme, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I also love how Ekeneme's you know, office wear was also done. Her wardrobe for this movie was really good. Her best friend, or her roommate, she was also very, very good in terms of her costume. Like that about this movie. Costume wise, the main characters and supporting cast, they nailed their looks for me in this movie. I like that. Moving on to what I don't like about this movie, I'll start by saying location. Location in the sense that there's no church, there's no school. The conversation was surrounding church, religion, prayer. You know, we needed to have a youth meeting in a church, or pastor preaching, or having Dike preaching to the youth. You know, something like that, because they had everything about him being Christian church, and we didn't have a location for that. That was disappointing. Everything was just done on the street, even as much as the people he was talking to were church members. So we didn't have a location for church. Even the office that they presume it to be a pastor's office, or didn't look like a pastor's office. So That was a huge disappointment. And then we also had a lot of conversation about him being a teacher, the student at this, the student at that. We didn't have a school scene. I'm like, and we didn't see one single student, even if we don't have a school. What about a student? Him preaching or talking to the, he had a lot of conversation with Ekeneme about his activities in the school. I didn't have anything like that. So for me, in my opinion, I think we would have had something like that. So school church location was not something I didn't expect not to see in a movie like this. So yeah, but I mean the office was quite okay, even though I even have question mark about that as well. Yeah, in general, I didn't like the location for this movie. Another thing I don't like about this movie is the office location. I mean, I appreciate how we're seeing the colleagues in their office or in their cubicles, and then their boss always comes around to give them information, yada yada yada. Yep. The only thing I don't like about that is that we did not see the boss that was sleeping with Ekeneme's best friend. His office, nothing like that. We didn't see that. We didn't see the best friend office as well. We didn't see the best friend's boss she was sleeping with, nothing like that. And they had a lot to say about this imaginary character. You should have seen him, the person now. Yada yada yada, nothing like that. And I'm like, I don't like it. For me, this is my opinion. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of just imagination all the time. YouTube producers, hello, waiting they go on. So yeah, that's something I don't like about it. How we're not able to see this boss character who was sleeping with this person, and had to cost her job, and like there was a whole lot about this character. We needed to see the person at least in a scene, in action. Nothing like that. I hated it for that. Lastly, I want to say I don't like the fact that this movie was quite long. I hate it. Yeah, I don't like it that it's too long. When it's too long like this, it's either I use days to watch it, I watch it in speed, or I skip it to watch it. So yeah, it's too long for me. But that notwithstanding, it's quite an interesting movie. If you haven't seen it, do what to watch. Rating it, I'm going to rate it 5/10. If you haven't seen To Love and Kabash, it is on Omonioboli TV. Thank you guys so much for watching my review. I'll see you all in my next movie review.